Hello, all. Welcome to episode 202 of The B Show. I first want to start off by thanking so many of my viewers who reached out to me um, on my social media, text me privately, or told my husband, here are the that I really appreciate everyone who watched. I was so scared and I'm scared again, but it's a fun scared, right? If it doesn't scare you, then it's not going to move you. So let's get this show started. Today, it's going to be a fun filled, packed episode of me talking to one of my besties and talking to our good friend, Coach Womack from the Sports Hit List. Let's see. How was everyone's weekend? You know what I should give up for Lent? The word this past weekend was Valentine's Day weekend. I'm not wearing red for that reason. My mom said, "You looked really good last week. Wear red." So this is for you, Mom. I had a great Valentine's Day weekend. My husband and I, we went to the Poconos. We went to Mount Airy Casino in Pennsylvania. We had a good time, but we've also realized that we are old as F because we got there and we were so hungry and we just wanted to like eat and drink. Started drinking in the room and then we went to eat and we were drinking and mixing, which we should have learned by college, time that you stop doing that. But we had such a good time that on Valentine's Day, we went to bed. Yeah, we passed out and then woke up in the morning laughing at ourselves and we just did a redo, but we definitely cannot hang. But it was a great weekend. It was like COVID fatigue. I know people are starting to say that and I didn't get it, but I totally get it now. Like it's just me and my husband. We don't have kids. It's just us. We don't have a dog, we don't have a cat, we don't have a parrot, we don't have anything. And we're very thankful we live in a 2-bedroom nice little apartment that we have here, but I'm tired of him. Like, I'm tired of him. He wakes up and he's like, "You're gonna get up?" Obviously, we both got a job here. We know we're working from home, and it's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I can only imagine. First of all, I can only imagine people who have kids that it's even more because you have to, help little children and feed them and everything. But it's worse when it's a grown man. Like, I'm trying to tell you, it's worse. So we needed this weekend to I needed this weekend so I wouldn't have to do anything. I could just relax and it was a good time. And when we came back, we were like, shouldn't we stayed longer? But doesn't that happen every time you go away? You're like, shouldn't we have stayed a little bit longer? And then we come back to hearing about Texas, and I'm devastated. I'm watching a lot of the videos on social media, and it just breaks my heart. And people are really upset at Senator Ted Cruz, and I'm like, why are you even shocked? Hello, do you know who he is? My heart is breaking. Like I said, I saw videos of people putting their food outside in the snow so that it can stay frozen. And then I'm like, well, where are they cooking it? Like when we had Hurricane Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong, my husband and we were able to go from like my mom's house to my sister's house to my cousin's house. But like if everyone in the same area or your friends or family are going through the same thing, it's like you really have nowhere to go. And also due to COVID, it's just times like it's just so sad. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't follow me, my name is Debstar_B. And after this show is done tomorrow or more to later on this weekend, I want to find some organizations where we can donate and give anything that we can to the people who are unfortunately going through this. People losing their houses, and before it was like due to foreclosure, but now it's like their houses are icicles or the floods, and it's just so be appreciative. If anything 2020 taught me was I'm a survivor of everything that I went through, that I made it here. It's fantastic. So all we can do is try to help others get in that same mindset. So like I said, follow me at Deb star underscore B, and let's see what we can do as a group to give back to Texas and those who are in need. And then speaking of snow day, here we are in New York City, New Jersey. It is like never ending snow. And when I was a kid, I was like, you know, when you're at home and you're like texting the friends, like, well, we didn't have phones to text, so calling each other, or maybe when you're in high school, in college, and even at work, you're like sitting by your phones, like, oh, I'm going to order this. I'm going to eat this. And I remember one snow day was so bad. I was like, I don't want to stay home trapped. I drove my little Toyota Camry to my boyfriend's house, who's my husband now. And I was like, yo, if we're going to be stuck, let's just be stuck and eat everything together. Now you can't even do that because of COVID. Like your boyfriend's family would be like, she ain't coming up in here. Sorry, social distance. Or how about every job and every school is open? Like things have just been ripped away from us. I work in my living room and it faces the window, so I have to see it, and I'm just like, I can't stand it. I want to be in the bed binge watching Grey's Anatomy, you know? Things that we took for granted. It's just so upsetting. Another thing that we take for granted is being able to do what we want during Lent. If you're Catholic, it's 40 days and 40 nights that Jesus, I believe, stopped drinking and stopped eating. I could never do that. That's like an intense diet. But I decided to give up using my phone after 8 p.m. for Lent. So anytime you try to call me or text me and I don't pick up, it's not that I'm ignoring you. If it's not an emergency, I just not going to pick up. I find as an individual, and a lot of my peers can maybe agree or won't, that we spend a lot of time on our phone, especially doing nothing, like just scrolling on social media to see what everyone else is doing and judging them. Or you go and look for before and after on Pinterest at 8 o'clock, and next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock and you have a whole house saved, but you don't even have deposit down for the house. Like, or I play a lot of games on my phone, like solitaire and free cell, and I'll just be up playing. And at first I thought, oh no, this is really good for me, because when you get older, it's good to, like, they say for you to keep doing things with numbers to keep your mind going. But when the phone falls on your head, that's when you know it's like, bro, it's time to go to bed. But I would just like, and go back. So I'm giving up being on my phone after 8 p.m. And it's going to be hard. Like last night when I was trying to text my friends about Real Housewives, I couldn't, because that's when Lent started. So I want to know what you're giving up. If you're watching this, write down in the comments what you gave up for Lent. I don't know what my family is giving up, because they really suck at this. So I told them to give up the phones with me, but they refused. So what are you going to do? I am going to share with you, like I did last week. This is Black History Month, and I want to give a little spotlight to my Haitian sister, Naomi Osaka. She has won a title against Sierra Williams. This is her second time. I know that when she won her first title, it was when she won the first time against Miss Williams, like she did again, she won, and she took a private plane to Haiti, and on the plane she was eating legume. That's like one of my favorite Haitian foods of all time. So I just want to give a shout out to her. You know, just like the Williams sister, their father really was the person who led them and encouraged them and helped them get where they are. And look where she is now at such a young age. And I saw the press of Serena crying that she lost the second time. And it could be devastating. You know, there's winners and losers. That's just how sports works. But especially when you've been held at a such a high standard, and then someone, I guess, younger comes in and just dominates you 2 times in a row. Like the first time she was like, "Go girl. All right, I got you." This time she couldn't hold it together. And it's probably more because she's a mother and she probably wants to show her daughter, who she's also now training her daughter to be in pro tennis. But I just want to say, you know, shout out to my girl Naomi. That's such a pretty name as well. And for my Haitians, you know, we doing it. We could do everything. I can only imagine what a Haitian tennis coach is like, because just Haitians in general are crazy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that with my guest who should be arriving soon. Her name is Pascale Houanche. Oh, you know, another thing I did for Valentine's Day weekend, I'm so sorry. We had a Galentine's Day dinner, and it was such a good time. We went to this new Black-owned restaurant in Lynbrook called Prime. The food was all right. The drinks were amazing. Amazing. Like they come up with drinks that you never even thought of. And every title of a drink was after like most of them were after like a Black singer. And it was really good. The drinks were popping. So we did that for Galentine's Day. And you know what I love about Galentine's Day is that it's for you to celebrate your girls, because before you had your husband, your boyfriend, you had your girls. Those were the people that you called on and you talked to, and you know, you get the vibes with. So those are like our first loves, I want to say. And I want to know what you guys did. I bet it was much different this year due to COVID, but like I said before, we need to celebrate every single day because we never know what is tomorrow going to lead. So coming up is one of my friends who I went to the Galentine's dinner with, Pascale Houanche. She is everything and more when it comes to female empowerment. And I can't wait for you guys to talk to her, well, I'm talking, but you're talking with me, like we're one, you know what I'm saying? And to get where she's coming from. And when me and her are together, it's just like a cha-cha-chi-chi. And I just can't wait. So here's Pascale Houanche. She's now joining us. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I wore red. I listened to my mama.
Ooh, hey, mama.
I like what you're wearing. I feel it. It's a little matchy match.
I see. Coordination is key, apparently.
You know, I was just saying that we had a great Galentine's Day, and that when I talk to you, oh my God, you know I'm a crier. Whenever I hang out with you, it's always a good time.
Thank you.
And what many people may not know about you is that you do what you want. And I find that very empowering. So I wanted to have you on the show to kind of talk about being in our 30s. I'm in my older 30s. I mean, I'm just old, like just 35. I'm not like, you know. Okay. And you are in your younger 30s, but you're not just 30 either. So you got, you know. And I just want us to vibe and talk about how hard it is to be a Black female in our 30s with such the stigma of what we're supposed to do and what we're supposed to be like, and how we kind of both do what we want, but also with the Haitian family, because it's very hard to have your voice with our family.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from with that. So I just want to say thank you for inviting me, because I really...
Oh, girl.
Well, you know, I think that even just having the invitation means that you think highly of my opinion. And that just really makes me smile. So thank you.
Are you smiling or are you smizing like Tyra Banks?
Oh, it's definitely both, right?
Okay. All right, girl. I'll give it to you. All right. So first, before we begin, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So hi to the world. I'm Pascale Houanche. I'm 30 something, you know. I don't know if the 30s count because it was in the quarantine, but it is what it is. Do you want the romantic version or do you want the resume version?
This is not a speed dating show, so and it's not a job interview, so like right in between.
Like in the middle?
Yeah,
Okay.
give me.
Yeah. So I'm from New York. I'm a Haitian American descent, first generation, and family really is important to me. I've done a lot of different things in my career. I went to school at SUNY Albany and Georgetown University, and I worked at major hospital systems and for a medical device company. Currently, I'm consulting, and I actually have my own little Mind Body Bakes little. Well, it's not little, like a thing. So I've been making some Haitian cakes. So for all you Haitian cake lovers, come hither. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I read a lot and I expect a lot out of my friends.
And I asked for a cake today and I was denied.
I mean, I have a frozen cake, but you're like, I don't know, in the snow.
It's my wedding. I want to.
No, you never want a little piece of cake and you don't want to have to make it. So you make a little extra the first time, save it up, be like, hey, honey, I'm home. Pop in the oven.
No.
Well, welcome to my husband.
You know what I have done though? Yeah. If I make a cake or buy one, I sometimes microwave it to get a little bit warm. Like the feeling when you first take it out I love it when it's hot.
To get the hot and then the steam is just.
Yes, and then you put a little icing on it. You know,
and make it your own. Exactly.
All right. Let's, for all the foodies out there, try it. I'm telling you, it tastes really good. It's like a Cinnabon, but a cake.
Gotta love a Cinnabon.
All right. First things first. How are you surviving living at home during this pandemic? Like I just said, it's amazing. But how are you? I have someone who's so easy to live with. But how is it for you? And I know there's multiple people that I know that also live at home still.
Right. So I think it's interesting that you say the word surviving, right? Because like, it sounds like we're in DEFCON 5, like, stop the press.
Because at first it was easy, but now we have to be real. It's like you just trying to survive, staying in these closed corners with the people in your household.
Right. Well, just to give the audience a backdrop, I live with my father in my family home. And honestly, it's not hard at all because the same things that were happening before the pandemic are still happening now, right? Like we still have different schedules. He's more of a night owl and I'm not. He still, goes and does his thing with his friends and I have the freedom to do my own thing. I think living at home is an issue when you guys don't have a routine or when you guys don't have your own spaces, right? Like if I didn't have my studio or my room, I don't know what I'd do. If he didn't have his man cave, he wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we also already have established roles, right? Like there's somebody who washes the dishes and there's someone who does the laundry. That hasn't really changed. So for me, I don't really feel like it's surviving. It's really like at work when I'm surviving because I'm like, now I have a new normal versus maintaining my normal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
100. So living at home is easy peasy.
Not easy peasy, but it's, it's the same stressors that was there before. I think living at home in general, as a 30-something-year-old who is not in a committed relationship, it's kind of hard for my father to actually experience, right? He's like, you're dating, let me meet him. No. What do you mean? You're dating. Exactly. Like,
right. It's not my boyfriend. I'm
right.
Seeing what's out there.
Right. So,
especially when Haitians can be so judgmental.
Oh, that's all they want to do. That's why they're asking the question.
Yeah.
Know if he's short or not,
What his credit score look like. Right.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, yeah, his credit score is 1 point higher than mine? Nah, not enough.
Oh, my God.
Okay, then.
So how is dating in this pandemic?
Actually, dating has been very dynamic in the pandemic. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Communication systems that people have are really exaggerated right now, right? Like if you're a texter, all you do is text, right? If you're a phone caller, all you do is phone call. Voice notes, what app you like to use, all of that stuff. Like I can tell immediately what kind of person you are. Whereas before, like you kind of like, or at least in my experience, you kind of like did whatever the other person seemed to be more interested in or responding more to.
Yeah.
And you like try to quickly create a date, right? Like, all right, let's just get the first meal out the way before, so I can find out if you smell or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but now, like the first date isn't necessarily, the next day, because like there's a whole pandemic going on, and I don't know, no one wants to be sick or sicker. So.
Right. Like when people tell me they have a boy, like they just got a boyfriend or girlfriend during the pandemic, I'm like, how? Because I would be freaked out. Like, are you going to take a COVID test before we go on a date? Like, are you quarantining before we go on a date? Mm-hmm. Are we going to be 6 feet apart? So like for you to be like, oh, I got a girl. I'm like, wow.
But the other thing is though, like people are just more serious now that there's a pandemic. Like a lot of
like let's not cut this and let's go straight to what you want.
Right. So like people I think are asking better questions or like actually diving deep into what their responses might be. I don't think before the pandemic, I used to talk about love languages this much with men. And now every man is like, yeah, I know my love language. I'm like,
that's very true. What is your love language?
Oh, I'm a combination. So of all 5 pre-pandemic, because I believe love language is like a dynamic thing that just kind of flows in and out. I was definitely physical touch. Like I was just like, oh no, we need quality time and physical touch right there with it. But I think I've become more of a words of affirmation and acts of service person, which is so interesting because I think it just is following the mold of the times, right? Because an act of service virtually can happen, right? If I say I'm hungry and you DoorDash me something, well,
right?
You like me.
I'm definitely acts of service.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's just really interesting. It's also, even hearing people's different interpretations of love language, if they don't know what it means, they're like, oh, my love language is food. And I'm like, well, that wasn't exactly what I was looking for.
That may be a service.
Exactly, but it's a lot of information, right? And
yeah.
So, I mean, if we're gonna do that, I'm like, food too.
Right.
So don't sit here and think you're gonna clean, and I'll be like, yes, I want the pancakes and the waffles.
Okay, chicken and biscuits. So I don't know how many dating apps are you on, and I'm not on any. But if I was, what would you, or for someone who's looking to get on them, what would you say is the worst app and what's the best?
So like the first question I would ask is like, what are you looking for, right? Because
there's different apps for different reasons.
Right. So Tinder is supreme, right? Like if you want to sleep with someone, I'm sure you can still, or you can get drugs on Tinder. Like anything you want on Tinder is possible. So, and it's still the number one like thing or dating app, right? Like if you talk
Hold on, let me write that down. No,
like when you talk about like the major apps out there, like, like if you say, oh, I want to Xerox something, you're saying you want a photocopy, right? But you're still using the name of Xerox. Like that's what I think Tinder is. But if you're looking for like, let's say
an email with a professional title.
An email with a professional title, then I would definitely use like a paid service like OkCupid or what's the other one? Match.com. Those typically have like more professional people who are like looking for something serious and who are actually putting in the money to do it, right? Like when you put your money where your mouth is. Like,
exactly. eHarmony, Christian Mingle.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't do Christian Mingle, but.
Oh, I'm just saying.
I heard you're not that Christian in Christian Mingle.
Hey!
Okay?
Okay. Lady in the streets. A lady in the street, but a freak in the shades.
I was gonna say, lady in the streets and a Jesus in the sheets.
I know a lot of people also use Bumble.
Yes. So that Bumble is not a paid service. I think they have like a paid option, but like having paid option isn't a paid service to me, right? Because everyone put a little service in there like, oh, do you want to do as many likes as you want? Pay $5.99 now. And
right.
Okay, I'll just wait. So like in terms of like purely apps that doesn't even really have like a website, there's Bumble, there's Hinge. Bumble is primarily if you want like the woman to initiate everything. And so
Right, a little bit safer, a little bit safer. And I
right.
know that Bumble also has things for like friends, like if you just want to meet like a new girlfriend, you know,
Well,
like
technically all of the apps are like that, right? Right.
oh,
Like
I don't know.
oh, okay. Well, you could choose your like your quote unquote gender preference, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't want to be exclusive of anyone, but it's usually male or female. Some of them have like an X or intersex, but it's generally male or female. And so you can choose, you could just say to someone, hey, I'm looking for a friend and you look cool. You know, like that's an option. I've seen that, but you can also do that on a gaming website. You know?
Now, do you think that if you met someone that you really clicked with and it was like 3 or 4 months into the relationship, being like, especially my family, your family, other Haitian, do you think they would be acceptive to like, I met Bobby through Bumble? Or do you think they're still in the mindset that they want to hear like, I met Bobby through work? Because like back in the day, you couldn't even say I met him at a club. Like a club? What?
Well, honestly, I don't really think they understand, like the older generations really understand what meeting on an app is, right? They'll be like,
Right.
Humble, I heard of that place. Did you?
Yeah.
I think honestly, they're more concerned about his profession, right? Like, well, for me, it's a his. Like, oh, like, okay, you met him on the app. Okay, what does he do? And
Yeah.
then he's referenced as his profession the entire time they'll ever talk about him. Oh, what about that nice doctor you used to date? Okay, he has a PhD. He's not a doctor, but we'll go with that.
Because that's what matters, you know? In Haitian community, you got to be a doctor, a lawyer,
Or an
engineer.
engineer.
Now they're taking, a nurse. Now they're taking a little bit of the teacher. They're accepting.
I think they're accepting it because they know that it's a job that's going to have like a good benefit.
Stability, yes.
Like they're like, oh, he get tenured. Oh, his
Yeah.
retirement will be good. Maybe there's a pension. Like,
Right.
you know, city job
Yes.
isn't even that bad anymore. But
100%.
that's contingent upon what your job is, right? Because let's say you're dating, let's say a teacher, right? And then they think that you're not going anywhere. They're like, oh, that's not enough. Like, who's going to support you and the kids? Versus, oh, you're dating a teacher and you know you're doing all for yourself. You're independent. You can support yourself. Okay.
And it's okay.
Right.
And
so,
that goes to my next question is, okay, so I'm 35 and I'm married, and my family, when I married Carl, was like, oh my God, yes, you found a good one. And it's like, thanks. I mean, he chased me, but you know, whatever. But now it's like, all right, where is the baby? Where's the baby? So it's like, you first they're like, where's your boyfriend? You get the boyfriend. When are you getting married? You get engaged. When you get engaged, you get engaged. You get engaged. When are you getting married? You got married. Then the next thing is, okay, where's the house? You get the house. Where's the kid? You get the kid. Where's the next kid? You get the next kid. When you're getting an upgrade of your car, it's like, damn, when is it good enough? Like,
right. No,
when do you feel, and I don't know for you, there are days that I feel that pressure, and there are days where I have to be like, you need to fall back.
When did you feel like you started getting that pressure?
2 years ago. I think they were like, all right, y'all been married for 3 years. It's cool. Now, maybe a year. Maybe a year after being married, I mean. So like for 4 years. Yeah. I mean, it's the point now when last week, my mother-in-law and she told me it's Notre Dame's day. Say your prayers. And the prayer was, please give my mother-in-law a baby. I'm like, oh, I thought you said like pray for things you want in your life. She's like, yeah, pray. And I'm like, here I am like, oh, I want a new car. I want the house. Like, we're looking for a house. I want to free Britney, have a baby. Okay. You know, and I also think our parents are very new to it, but not new. Mm-hmm. That you don't sneeze anymore and get a boyfriend. You don't sneeze anymore and just end up pregnant with the house. It's harder now.
Right.
Oh, and also maybe goals. Like you may say, I want this. I mean, for myself, when I turn 30, I'm like, I want this, this, and that. before I even think about having a child.
Yeah.
And to them, they're like, what do you mean?
You know, it's so funny. They raised us like that.
Yes.
They really raised us to have one thing after another. When they did everything at once, or like, you know, whatever, they put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
And now they're like, wait, why are you doing what I told you to do? That's crazy. So, you know, it's funny. You know, I've been a part of your, you know, relationship with Carl on the side line.
Yeah, you could say you call it you're his side chick. Go ahead.
No.
Your relationship with the Haitian music makes you his side chick.
No, I mean, I've been watching you and Carl in your relationship for its entirety, right?
Yes.
And we were getting married. They all looked at me like, so when are you going to find yourself a Carl? I was like, a what? They were like, Debbie found a Haitian man.
That was the dream.
I was like, what? They were like, he likes music. He dances with us. He eats with us. Like, when are you going to find your Carl? And I was like, who knew someone else's happiness could be my destruction?
Oh, I apologize. I get it all the time, so don't worry. Don't even, he's the best thing that ever happened to us. Like, hello?
Right, like our chopped liver?
Yeah, I'm here too.
Yeah, but you know, I really love your relationship. And I think that them seeing like people who I care about, like move on and progress into like marriage is like stressful for them, right? And for me, like right now, the pressure really isn't even about like getting a boyfriend. They just want me married.
Right. They're like, skip that whole step.
Right. They're like, oh, you're professional, you're smart, you're a young girl. What's up? And the funny thing is, it's not really my dad who pressures me.
It's the women.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
And it's so funny because my dad, he'll sit there and be like, yeah, I want grandbabies. But he would never bring up the topic. He's just watching and waiting for my period to end. Like,
well, that's like my father-in-law. He never says anything, but I know he's like, what's good?
Right.
You know?
Oh, one time I was dating this guy and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm dating a little my father. And my dad was like, really?
Tell me more.
Tell me more. He combats like the Haitian dance, like he dances.
Yeah.
He does this, he does that. I was like, I mean, I don't know, but you guys have the same name and the same height, and it feels very like inappropriate that I'm dating someone that might be your little twin.
Yeah. I also feel like it's a Haitian community that puts this kind of pressure on us, but it's also now social media combined. Like, you're in the stage where all you see is maybe your friends getting engaged and married and maybe getting a house. And I'm in the stage of all I see is my friends getting a house and having children. So you may be pleasantly surprised with your vibe, what you're doing in life, but then you go on and you see that and you just instantly become like, damn, what am I doing wrong? Was I supposed to take step 1, 2, 3, or should I have done 5, 6, 7?
You know, I definitely hear what you're saying. I think I've actually been through the whole, everyone's getting married, everyone's having a baby, everyone's getting a house or whatever, like moving on to that quote unquote next step. I've been through this stage like 3 or 4 times by now, because every time I did a significant thing in my life, the people who did it with me ended up doing to that next step. So like after high school, everyone had a baby. I was like, oh my God. After college, everyone got married and then had a baby. And then, so social media doesn't even really influence me like that anymore, because 1, I'm now desensitized to people.
That's so good.
In life. And then 2, when I talk to them in real life, they have all
some of them are not happy. It's just it's a fake. Yes. And that's a good thing that you just said. We have to start realizing some people post when they're happy, and then if they fall off the grid, it may not be because they're depressed. They just have a lot going on with them. But then there's some people who literally get dressed and pose and then take off their clothes and cry.
Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah. And I try to explain that to my family, but they don't care. I also feel like men don't get it as bad as women do.
They don't.
Like, oh, you should have done this and this. Their job is like, yeah, get a wife, and then to just provide, or let like mommy take care of you until you find the woman who can do that for you as well.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely agree. But I also think it's because men can realistically have kids until they're 60.
Right.
We have people in our own family and friends of ours who have, like, I don't know, uncles younger than them.
Yeah.
Or like their parents are dating someone that's like maybe 2 years older than them or 2 years younger.
Yeah.
So for men, it's like, okay, you had your third wife. Okay.
No problem.
Right. But me, like, deciding to like make a choice about who I want to date or spend my life with, it's like I'm Morticia. I'm like the decrepit woman who nobody wants. And I'm like, that's actually not true.
Yeah.
But I mean, they only see what they want to see because they're now at the age where they believe that being stubborn is a right. Right? Like, I'm old. I'm an old dog. I don't learn new tricks and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you learn how to use your phone when you want to use it.
Right.
So.
As I said before when I introduced you and when you stepped into the room, I feel like to others, you may come off who don't know you or care too much, that you kind of come off as a girl like, I don't give a F. Not to be mean, that's just your vibe. Like, really, like, that's what you care about? I don't care. To me, that's empowering. Or you are so a kind of girl that's like, oh, if he can do it, I'm going to do it too. And then I'm going to do it better. And that's just who you are. And some people may be like, what? Like the name, you know, like they're like, what the hell did she just do to me? Or why did she just say that to me? And then when I'm talking to her, she doesn't even have emotion. It's not that you don't have emotion. It's like, I think you're very controlled on what to express emotions for. And some people may not like that, but I do. What can you say to some people who want that kind of, who want to be like that? Like, not to let what other people say about them to them intimidate them, or, you know, like, you just don't give an F.
I think you're kind of alluding to like my aloofness sometimes. Like, I'm just like, all right, so if that's really what you want to do, cool. Right? Like, literally, I feel like that's the part of me that people are like, she doesn't give a fuck. Like, what? How is that possible? Because I think primarily because I really know what I want. Like, I really know what's important to me. And what's not important to me is whatever that you're not focused on. Like, I mean, to give a small example, I remember one time someone was like, oh my God, are you okay? We were just in there and you weren't talking at all. And I'm like, the subject matter was absolutely stupid. Like, it was idiotic. Yeah. And I don't want to be rude and tell someone that I don't need to hear this, but I'm not going to respond and encourage further conversation. That doesn't make sense either.
My new thing for 2021 is I'm disengaging.
Okay.
If it doesn't, I'm not going to do something to please you. I'm disengaging.
Yeah, but you know what disengaging means? That you're holding steadfast in the other things that you want, right? Like, I'm letting go of this because I'm still holding on to this. And
well, no, for me, it means whatever you have in your mind of me, your notion, or whatever drama you want to bring, or I'm disengaging. I'm not going to be part of it. I don't want to mess up my vibes. It's 2021.
Yeah.
And this is the year of the ox, Chinese New Year. Okay. And this is my year. So I'm disengaging. I have to wrap this up, but I can talk to you all day. Okay. I always ask my guests one question. Sure. And for you, it would be, if I feel like you really have like a way with your words and your aura. If you could be a if you can have someone be your self-mentor, like a guru, who would it be?
I think I would choose Eartha Kitt. Because she was really a free thinker, and that's the type of stuff that I want in my life, right? Like, I want to empower or like re-energize that ideal, right? Because I can like everyone else, but I choose not to. Like, I'm very intentional about that. And with even like my outfits, you're like, oh my God, Pascale, you're so extra, right? But that's because
ladies and gentlemen, I know we have to wrap this up, but I have to say this quickly. Oprah. We went on yes, you brought it up. We went on my bachelorette party, and I told everyone, be casual, like wear this on this day and this day. Pascale had 3 to 4 outfit changes a day in heels. One day she looked like she was Oprah with like getting food from her garden. The next moment she was going on a date. Like we were like, wait, but what's going on in between?
Right.
And that is you. When we go somewhere, I have to text her. What is your vibe that you're bringing? Like you and Coralie are the same. Like I have to text y'all both. Like, are we going to prom or are we going to the movie theaters? Like, which one are we going to eat a bagel?
So I mean, don't you love prom?
No, I didn't love prom because
really?
I didn't get to go with Carl.
He's like, oh,
he's you know.
Okay. High school romance.
Yeah, I didn't get to go with Carl, so my prom date was amazing. But Pascale, I want to thank you so much for joining me on the B Show. I hope to have you back again once you get your man and you tell everybody. Well, all the people who doubted me, you know what I'm saying?
He might be here. I might have received a few text messages while you were on the call. So.
Okay. And you know what? Even if you don't, maybe, for other women who are in their 30s who may feel how you feel, this is a prime example of empowering yourself, taking the steps you need to benefit your life. And you definitely do what you want to do. Like you don't follow the Yellow Brick Road. You follow the Pascale Road.
Everyone uses my name as a verb and an adjective, and I would love to know what that actually would translate to in English.
Well, I got a couple for you.
I mean, that's an offline conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Pascale is not on Instagram because she gave that up for Lent. Yeah. But if you would like to talk to her or get any advice or just become a sister friend, feel free to write in the comments below or to DM me and I will pass over the message.
Well, my Instagram is still active at LovePass, LUVPAS. And, I will have somebody else checking my Instagram.
Pascale, goodbye. So. Lent means give it up. You can't have someone else check
funnel people to my page and then
no, that means for 40 days you give it up and when you come back you see everything you missed. You can't have somebody go on and tell you what you missed.
On her page looking for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we are now waiting for Jamal. Pascale Houanche is leaving the scene.
Well, it doesn't even smell bad, but okay. Can you let me smell?
Deb.
Yes, sir.
Can you see me? Is it too dark or is it all right?
Well, you do things for the sport hit list, right? And you guys always do this effery with your background. So what do I expect? I mean, where are we? Are we on like...
Well, I like to pay homage to some of the places I've lived when I go on. So this is actually Reggio Calabria, Italy, where I lived for 3 years.
All right, you don't got to brag about it.
No, I'm just saying, sometimes I got to give people love, try and get the demographics up,
You speak Italian?
A little bit. I can understand it way better than speaking.
All right, give us 2 words.
Ciao, Bella.
Goodbye. You're so annoying. Dismiss. Goodbye.
Arrivederci.
I got one for you. A pizza.
A pizza mozzarella.
Well, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I had you wait. See, this is what I mean. Now we got the dog. The dog trying to make an appearance.
She knows she's Hollywood. She knows.
Let me write your name down on the list for never coming back on my show. This is the ghetto, honey. Well, first, to those who may not know you, please introduce yourself.
My name is Jamal Womack. I have the pleasure of knowing Deb through her husband, Pascale Houanche, who went to school with me at St. Francis College. Brooklyn. And Deb also used to. She was the creative director. No, we don't have the studio show. That's why.
Okay, but I do try to tell Carl a few things that he don't listen to me.
I'm sure you try and warn him on a lot of things. I'm sure on that one. I'm positive. But yeah, Deb still is. But we saw each other a lot more frequently when we had the show in studio. So I've known Deb for some time. I jazzed
you guys up a little bit and it made it look a little nice. I make it look nice.
Yes, you do. You make sure we had the right colors. Everybody was seated in the right area for the lighting. You held it down. You definitely held it down.
Oh, thank you. And you held Carl down on his show, The Sports Hit List.
Yes,
so
of course.
This is my time where we talk a little sports. And if you don't know, I know absolutely nothing about everything.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I like that. I like that. So if I'm wrong on something, we just gonna keep it going.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna just keep it rolling because to me, I'm like, you sound amazing. But then I'll have someone over my ear like, no. And like right here, let's talking in. So first thing first is the Lakers lost Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Do you think that they should be worried about them making to the playoffs?
Nah, they're gonna be a playoff team. When you got, LeBron James, practically one of the top 3 players, if not the best player in the NBA right now. He's playing like Tom Brady. He's out there to prove a point with his.
He did say that he wishes that he can beat Tom Brady.
So that LeBron is one of those guys that any little edge he sees from anything, he'll take it just to add to it because he's just that kind of competitor. He wants to have something else pushing him. So they'll make the playoffs. They need to rest Anthony Davis. You need him for the playoffs. You're not going to win a championship without Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
You will make the playoffs, but they need him for the championship. So
maybe he'll get his eyebrows done in between. I'm sorry.
He should, but he said he would never do that, right? They actually asked him about that when he came out of college.
Yes.
And he said he would never cut his eyebrows.
Right, because now it's his signature.
Yeah, I hope he's making money off of it, though, at least.
Well, LeBron also did say that I heard today that he's interested in coming up with an album. He cannot sing, he cannot rap, but he wants to be like a DJ Khaled, put people together, come up with the beat.
Listen, we know this. I don't know if he has an ear for that type of thing, but one thing about celebrities is other celebrities are in your circle. So it's easy for him to get some of the top artists in every area. Say we're going to make a compilation album and I want to, executive produce it and be a part of it, so he can get it done. But I don't know how great his ear is in terms of music. He has to prove that to me.
Now back to the Lakers. Do you think that with Anthony Davis being out for a little bit, they should look into Blake Griffin?
I mean, even if he wasn't out, you look into Blake Griffin. I mean, you can never have enough horses for the playoffs, And
Blake Griffin is a powerhouse.
He's a powerhouse. He's shooting the ball better now that he lost a little bit of that athleticism, but he's a smart player. He's a professional. He can give you 15 to 20 minutes. If Montrezl Harrell, who's their backup center and power forward, gets injured, or if Anthony Davis gets injured again or needs to rest in the playoffs, you got someone who has a lot of experience. So they definitely got to look into him.
So there's been a lot of controversy going up about the All-Star weekend. The mayor, Keisha, feels like everyone needs to be clear. This is not going to be a fan base where people fly down like they usually do in celebrities. It's going to be mostly you watch at home on TV. Do you think that's a good idea, or we should fly out people like we did for the Tampa Bay?
Listen, I know Mayor Keisha is trying to, say all the right things. She knows she has the spotlight on her in her city, but half of my family lives in Atlanta, and it's crazy already. I mean, there's parties every weekend.
All the time. The strip club is making money. The wings are being popped.
Popped, right? Yeah, somebody got in trouble for that during the season. It was getting some wings from the strip club, and I think it was in Atlanta. So Atlanta's already open. So this will make it worse. It will make it worse, and you would get people who would probably if Atlanta's open, but people from Atlanta are there. It's different than people coming from all over the country and then going and possibly spreading the virus to their communities where they go live. So I understand the precautions that she's making. It's not going to stop people from going down there. People will be going down there to Atlanta. People will go anywhere, any excuse to leave.
And they'll have a party and maybe in a private house or watch the game privately.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even some arenas are opening up now, 2,000 to 4,000 fans now. So, we're slowly moving in the right direction. So she had to say the right things politically, but let's understand, Atlanta's been bugging out for a while now. So, it's just a little late. I feel a little
bad that we can't have an all-star weekend. I mean, think of all the girls. This is their season, to fly out with the, stay in the motel and find them a basketball player.
It's their time. I mean, it's definitely
the time where you secure the bag and what's going to happen.
it's also the time for anybody 6'7" who's not in the NBA to front and act like they're in the NBA, because some
You
of these
know?
girls, they don't know who you are.
This is the time for people who never get to play one time, but they're on the bench to be like, yo, I played for the Celtics. When do you play? During practice. Like, and everything is being taken from them.
Yo, for real, this is their time to shine, because there's so many people. No one is gonna really Google you like that. You know, it's a lot of moving parts. So, but really, what I really, all jokes aside, what I feel for is not only the fans, but this is a time also that's special for the players when they get to have their families there.
Right.
And that's those memories of the players having to go there without their families because they're working, and their families can't be a part of this weekend, which is usually the best weekend to like bring your kid to work weekend, pretty much in the NBA. So that's who I feel bad for. But the girls that have another opportunity, they'll be good. They got summer league in Vegas. When the summer league gets again in Vegas, they can go out there.
I know you have to have heard of Mr. Green's rant.
Yes.
It was pretty bad. He's a little. Some say he's salty. What do you think?
Of course he's salty.
Some think it wasn't even necessary. Like, he should have just kept his mouth shut. But freedom of speech, right?
Yeah, and I think, I always say this: two things can be right at the same time. So you can be salty, but you can be right in your soulfulness. Draymond Green was salty. It wasn't really his situation, but I think Draymond Green, he's one of those guys that doesn't care if it's about him. If he feels like he has an opinion, just like every sports writer has their opinion, his deserves to be heard as well. And I think he made great points. I talked it over before. Owners do the same thing. When they want to trade you, they trade you. They'll talk about trading you. They'll pull you out of the game 5 minutes
Some
before
don't
the
even
game.
talk. You just find out.
Exactly. I forgot one player said that they found out in the locker room. Or they found, somebody found out, Boogie Cousins found out in an interview at the All-Star game that he was being traded from the Sacramento Kings and had no idea. So
Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, God bless them. Yeah, they got cheated. They got cheated when Webber
that was the worst year ever in history against the Lakers. Yep. I stood up. See, I even know I stood up all night and I cried.
Oh man, Chris!
I was so devastated because they were supposed. Okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take you back to that.
It's all right.
To that dark place. Oh man, but yeah. So I think he had a voice. I think he had a good point of view. I think players should be allowed to air out their grievances, and if they want to get traded, they should be able to say that. But also, if you're not traded as a player, be professional and go to practice, go to games, and do what you're being paid for.
Up.
Yeah, and show up.
You have a job. Just like if you worked in corporate America, you work in a bank, you work as a teacher, you can't just be like, well, I don't want to be here, so I'm not going to show up. All right, don't show up, you'll get fired. Some of these basketball players have the luck that doesn't happen. Look like the Nets players. That could have, everyone was saying, fire them.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing about basketball. Like, it's such a sport driven on superstars. One or two players really make the difference that you really can't afford to have superstars upset and angry. In other sports, they like football, you see what's happening. Deshaun Watson, he's a quarterback with the Houston Texans. He's asking for a trade. They're saying they're not trading him. They probably will, but they can play a little more hardball because there's two sides of offense and defense, and there's a lot more players, 53 and plus players on the roster. Basketball, one star changes everything. So the players control the narrative.
Speaking of the players controlling the narrative, I also heard that a lot of the players are not promoting getting the vaccine. And I feel like with such a big platform, and if they want the fans back, don't you think that's something they should do? But then on the flip side, I kind of understand, because it's like, what if something happens and then it comes back on us that we were the ones saying, yo, go get this vaccine so that you could come to our show? It's going to be like, well, I got the vaccine and I don't know, like my arm blew up, but so you only want me to come to the, to watch your game? It's like, that's the real reason you don't care about me as an individual?
Listen, you used to watch the Chappelle Show?
Of course.
Remember when they was like, if there's a national emergency, no one will ever say, what does Ja Rule think about this?
Listen, no one will ever think about what Ja Rule said after what he did at the Fire Festival.
No one would ever think if there was a national war and say, what would Ja Rule think? And this is where it gets crazy at. So we got players. They tell them a lot of times, shut up and dribble. Remember that? They said shut up and dribble.
Exactly what I was thinking. This is our time, lane. Right? You tell us to shut up and dribble. We're gonna shut up and dribble.
When it came to the stimulus checks, and if every American deserved a stimulus check of $1,400 to $2,000, did they ask any of the NBA players what they thought about that?
No, because they know they didn't care. They were getting their money anyway.
How about the riots that happened in the Washington Capitol? Did they ask LeBron or did they ask Kevin Durant what he thought? Did they bring him on TV to ask what they thought? But now that we have this vaccination, which the vaccination, if it works, if you feel comfortable, I'm all for it. This is an individual situation for me. This is someone's health. We don't know enough about what's happening. Let's ask the scientists. Let's get them in the front. Let's stop. I don't want LeBron James to tell me to get vaccinated because me and LeBron James are different. If I get sick, it's 30, 40 minutes for me to go to the hospital. I don't know if I can make it.
He gets sick, someone drives to him, they're in seconds.
We're in different worlds.
I also believe it goes back to like what, my girl Britney Spears said. Celebrities are not role models. They're here or basketball players, basketball players here to play a game. This is their job. Their job is not to put their wishes or wants on us. If Agreed. They do, that's great. If it's something that I think, but see, then it's like, so now I'm speaking for other people who may say, okay, well, you want them to talk about racism, but you don't want them to talk about the vaccine. So it's
racism is something that a lot of them have experienced. It's something that they are accustomed to. It's something that historically we've seen throughout history. Correct. That they can reflect and they can go back to things and actual events that have happened. They have some kind of understanding of racial issues, with 90% of the league being African-American or Black or minority. When we go into this vaccination, I mean, I'm not the smartest person, but I consider myself, I got a good education. I consider myself up to date in current events. But if someone asks me about the vaccination, I defer to them doing their own research because this is something I don't understand. It's something most of the world doesn't understand. So excuse me if I don't care if LeBron James or
and most of them didn't even finish college. So
I mean, I'm not asking him about the vaccination. Like, if they got on TV and said get vaccinated, it's not gonna. I don't think it should change your life because if someone dies in your family, you're gonna call LeBron James and say you said I should get vaccinated. So
exactly,
nah. Do your own homework. Take the time. Talk to your doctor. This is why we need healthcare. This is why Black people and minorities can't be afraid to reach out to their doctors and people in the medical field and get expert opinions on what's happening. I wouldn't ask my doctor if I should bet on the Knicks, and I won't ask the Knicks if I should get the vaccination.
And so that's the line for the whole show, okay, right there. That was amazing. I want to thank you so much for being part of my show today. Of course, I also heard from a little birdie that Tuesday was your birthday.
Yes, it was.
And how old did we turn?
35. I'm getting up there.
Oh, welcome to the 35 club, brother.
I'm moving up there.
When you wake up, you hear things start cracking. You're like,
wake up every time I move.
Hold up, wait a minute. Like that, you looking around like somebody opened a bag of chips. What the hell is going on here?
I find myself getting tired at 9 and being up at 7. So it's a
grandpa. I just find myself saying constantly all the time, like, damn, my bones hurt. Like, man, this hurts. And, especially after working out, it's not the same when you're younger. Like, you can work out and then just go out. Now I'm like, well, if I'm going out tonight, I'm not going to work out, especially I'm not going to do a leg day. Because
I went to the gym 2 weeks ago and I was pumped. I was like, I'm back. I'm getting it back. I'm getting ready. Like, I'm about to come out of retirement. And I went for like a strong 2 days. And then on the third day,
I was like, I need to rest.
It's over. It's over. It's over.
Jesus rest on the 7th day. Today, it don't matter. Today is my day.
That's the line. Jesus rested on the 7th day, and today is my day to rest. That's the outro right there. You said it, Deb.
Well, I hope you had you're an Aquarius.
Aquarius, yeah.
Oh, God. I hope you had a great birthday. It's almost time for Pisces season. My man Ziggy, shout him out.
Yeah, sorry. Ziggs. Your time is coming, Ziggs.
That's my bestie. Thank you so much for having me. Like this is my.
Nah, you had me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Carl was worried that I wouldn't be able to say your name. Mr. Womack. He was like, be careful because you can't pronounce things. But I did it.
Nah, you did it perfectly.
Thank you. Everything I do is perfect. And right now, my watch is going off crazy because, are we ready? It's time for me to promote the sports hit list. It's on every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, new time. Is it 5? Yes, it's 5 o'clock. New time on, Woman Crush Wednesday day. So obviously, all you men pay no attention to your girl for a couple of hours. You do that anyway. And watch his show. And I heard a little bird. This bird is chirping so loud in my ear. It's not even a bird. It's a rooster now. That you were in the choir.
Oh man, this is crazy. You got whoever you getting these facts from is wild. Yeah, when I was younger.
You better sing a tune for the.
Nah, man, it's over. It's over. You can YouTube it. YouTube Boy Squad of Harlem. You'll see me on there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You need to post a video next Thursday for Throwback Thursday.
I got just for you. I'm gonna post a video on the book.
And I got follow one on you, so I don't want to see no lies.
I got you.
And then if you do a good job, you can hit up LeBron James, and he could put you on his album.
Yo, that might happen. Now we working. Now we working. Now
put it into manifest.
Now we working. Yeah.
All right. I'm so thankful for you. Next time I have you on my show, leave that ghetto screen away. It worked for today, but this is not the sports hit list. This is the B show.
Okay. When I come back on, I will be according to your standards. Your standards.
That's all I'm asking for, I'm gonna meet you. Honey.
I'm gonna meet you.
That's all I can ask for.
I got you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the coach, Mr. Womack. Thank you so much.
All right, later, Deb.
Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 2 of the B Show. Thank you so much for joining me. My camera just fell. This is the ghetto, honey. It's the ghetto. I need a new studio. Thank you so much for being my guest. Remember to be true and be you. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. It's snowing out there. And hit me up. Bye.